This is sewing instructions for the knit top. Now, there are 24 tops in the book. So this, all I'm going to do is go over the basic sewing instructions. Each one of those tops has a different neckline, a different way to put it together. So we'll go into each one of those with their own videos. So this is just basic sewing instructions. Now, before we get into this, let me tell you what we're using is the master top pattern. When you make your master pattern, make sure that you mark it master pattern, because we're not going to cut this one up. We're going to keep this forever and ever. This stays just like this. So make sure that you mark it master. So I have my master top and back, and then I have my master sleeve. Now let's talk a little bit about knits, because a lot of you are confused over knits. So I'm going to tell you my three favorite, and these really are my three favorite, and almost everything you see in the book is made from those three fabrics. The first one is Sophia. I love this fabric. It comes in 20 different colors. You can buy it at Vogue Fabrics, or you can buy it at Fabric Land. If you want to Google it, you can do that. Sophia, Sophia fabric. One of the reasons that I like it is that it has rayon in it. So it's a little bit softer fabric, and it hangs beautifully. Those of us that look like me that have a little bit more spare tire right here, we like to tailor our clothes, and when you use Sophia, you can, and it doesn't hug your body. So it just lays skims right over those rolls that you may have. So I love Sophia fabric. You can use it for pants, or you can use it for tops. This is Sophia fabric as well. Now, the other fabric that I love is called 320 Ponte. Now let me go back to the Sophia fabric, and Sophia fabric stretches from the fold to the selvage. So it has a two-way stretch. That's called a two-way stretch. 320 Ponte has a four-way stretch. So it stretches this way as well and this way. So we have a four-way stretch. Now, 320 Ponte can only be purchased at Michael Levine, so make sure that you check that out. The last fabric that I love is the ITY fabric, and it's what I have on. And you're going to find ITY fabric everywhere as well. It stands for Interlock Twist Yarn, and it's the way the yarn is twisted is what makes it a knit, or what makes it stretch. It comes in lots of different colors, but the thing I like the most about ITY is it comes in these beautiful prints. So don't be afraid of prints. Prints are really fun, but look up the ITY fabric. Again, those are my three favorite fabrics. So what we're going to start with is I'm going to show you how to do Chanel trim. Now, Chanel trim is a way to cover a cut edge. It doesn't mean you have to go buy anything. It's just simply a way to cover a cut edge. And a cut edge is what you're going to have when you sew your shoulder seams together. You're going to have a raw edge around your neckline. Now, I do want to tell you that when you're working with ITY fabric, sometimes it gets a little nasty and it doesn't want to lay flat for you. So if you will take just like a 3/4 inch strip of French fuse, that's at fusible interfacing, and iron it to the garment itself, just around the neck edge, you won't have any trouble whatsoever doing Chanel trim. You can see that this Chanel trim, they're both knits, and one is the yellow, and it just did this so you could see it just a little bit better. But it's a way to cover a cut edge, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing that you're going to do is to sew your shoulder seams together. So I'm going to put the front to the back and sew my shoulder seams. Now I'm going to do this in yellow chalk so you can see it, and I'm going to sew with a 1/2 inch seam. When I designed this pattern, I designed it with 1/2 inch seams because I thought 1/4 inch was really hard to work with, and 5/8 inch seam allowance is much too much, especially when you're working with knits. So it has a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Every garment in the book is done with a 1/2 inch seam allowance unless it's pants. So every top garment, every jacket, every dress, every coat is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So we're going to sew the shoulder seams together, and then we're going to do the neck edge. So when you do the neck edge, you will see, let me turn this over like this, you will see that you're going to have a raw edge right here. All right. So what you're going to do is to fold this in half, and we're going to pretend this is sewn together. Let me fold this in half like this, and there's the fold of the back. And I'll fold this in half. Now you're going to pretend that these have been sewn together like this. So let me turn this over because that would be your seam allowance. All right. So this is the front and this is the back. When you measure a neck edge on a knit, for a knit top like this, you want to make sure that you stand the tape measure up. Now, we're going to make a strip that's smaller than our neck edge. Reason being, you want this to hug your neck, not to do this. So we want to keep it close to our body. That's not a very attractive look. Some people tell me, well, all you have to do is to serge around the edge and turn it to the inside. It's going to hang open for you and you're not going to like it. This is a much easier trick to do. So you can see I have my neck edge here. I'm going to stand my tape measure up. Please refer back to the pictures that are in the book because they're great. And you're going to measure what that whole neck measures. Now, yeah, I have 6 inches right here. So that would mean the whole neck edge would measure 12. If you did that, you'd never get it over your head. So you must cut this down. So we're going to cut it down like this because it's going to be a scoop neck. All right. When you purchase the pattern, on the back side of the pattern, you will find a scoop neck template. So you don't have to guess as to what you want to cut. So let me cut this out. And then I'm going to measure again. Now you got to remember this has to go over your head. So 12 inches would never go over your head. All right. And these are my wonderful Kai scissors, by the way. They named these after me. They're called Judy's Favorite. Go to their website. You can find them. I love them, and I'll tell you why in just a second, why they come in really handy. So again, now I'm going to stand this tape measure up one more time. And now this neck edge measures 16 inches. So what I'm going to do is, instead of 16 inches, I'm going to cut a strip of fabric. Now I'm not going to use black. I'm going to use blue so that you all can see it. I'm going to cut a strip that is 15 inches. Because the neck edge measured 16, so it's going to be 1 inch less. So let me get this out of the way. I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to measure 15 inches on here, like this, and cut. Now I'm going to take these 2 cut ends, and I'm going to fold those 2 cut ends together, and I'm going to sew it with a 1/2 inch seam, okay? If you have cut that down, you may want to try this over your head just to make sure that strip goes over your head, because if it doesn't, you can always cut your neckline down more and cut you another strip. So sew it with a 1/2 inch seam. All right. So once you've done that, you're going to quarter that strip that you did. So put pins at 4 equal distances and quarter the neck edge. And that's what I have right here. And you can see that what I've done is I've put a white strip inside my black shirt that I have. So I have it quartered. I'm going to sew with a 1/2 inch seam all the way around the neck edge. All right. Now I'm going to take my pins out because I already have that sewn in. Let me get this out of the way. And then I want to show you how you're going to create the Chanel trim. Now this is my trim. This is my shirt. This is the seam of the two. So that's going to be called the ditch. All right. You can see that there's the seam allowance on the inside, and I'm going to finger press that up and fold the strip very tightly around the edge. Now when I do this, the edge right here, that's the raw edge, and you've covered it. And I'll go back and show you this shirt because this one has been done. And you can see that that's right up to the edge. All right. Then you're going to stitch in the ditch and cut off all the excess, and you have beautiful Chanel trim. Very, very simple and easy to do. Now let's sew the sleeves in. So this one's easy as well. So I'm going to take my armhole like this. I'm going to lay it down so that you can see it. And I'm going to take my sleeve and I'm going to fold it in half and put a pin in it. So I find the center of the sleeve. That goes to the shoulder seam like that. Right side to right side. I only need 3 pins to do this, put this sleeve in. So the other pin is going to go over here at the arm's eye. Now let me show you what an arm's eye is. An arm's eye is this little point right here. You have one on your garment, you have one on your sleeve. So I'm going to pin those 2 together. Then when you sew this, follow the directions in the book. When you sew this, you're going to sew it with the sleeve on the top, and you're going to stretch that armhole to meet the fabric above it. And I promise you it does. If you pin this on a knit, you no longer have the capability of stretching it. So make sure that you only use 3 pins to sew your sleeve in. Then the next thing we're going to do is to sew the side seam. And let me turn this inside out to show you that when you sew the side seam, you're going to put, again, right sides together, and this is the seam of the sleeve. You only need 1 pin to do this, so put a pin right here. And then when you start to sew, you're going to sew from the bottom up. Now this will be easy for you to see because it's 2 different colors. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom, and I'm going to sew all the way through the sleeve. The sleeve is the yellow in 1 seam. So really, really simple. When you try this on and you tweak it, if you need it tighter, all you have to do is make that seam more. Make another 1/2 inch seam and try it on and see if you like it. So really, really simple to do. Very simple. So after we've sewn it together, we need to hem it. So I'm going to show you. The top that's on the dress form here, can you see I've done all kinds of cute little beads. That just jazzes it up. And we also have on the dress form the chenille trim. This top has been finished with chenille trim. So is the one that was underneath. That's been finished with chenille trim. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold up my hem. And the hem is totally up to you. However short you want to make this is totally up to you. If you have a serger, you can finish this on a serger. But I'm going to fold up more than I actually need and press it really good. And then I'm going to stitch about 1 inch or 1.5 inches away from that folded edge with a straight stitch. Then all you have to do is to go back to the inside. And let me turn this over like this. And this is the reason these are called Judy's Favorite. These scissors have a blunt tip, so you're not going to poke through your fabric and cut your fabric at all. So all you have to do is to come in here like this and cut away the excess. And that's how simple that is to do. And you're ready to just create different tops. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now it's time to check out the website. Everything is on there. You can purchase the pattern, the book, all the notions I talked about. You can join the Fit Club and check out the classes where I'm teaching. And be sure to follow me on Facebook.